Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading for the month of August and welcome to my channel. I'm hoping that this time around the energies have settled enough where I don't have to stop the video. So Gemini, I've tried to do this reading about 3 times and either I lost my voice or there was a lot of activity that would start happening suddenly where I just had to stop. So I'm going to try this time around and see if now we can do it. And if not, and then I'm going to have to leave this reading for another day. So Gemini, some of the things that I want you to keep in mind when you're listening to this reading about my style of reading the oracles. One, I'm not fortune telling. All I'm doing is deciphering the energies and the vibrations that are coming out and are speaking in this cycle. I'm not just talking about your energies, but I'm also talking about the oracles per se. The other is that I like to use the principles of the law of attraction when you come to my channel and listen to these videos. So if you feel that there's a connection with the things that I'm saying, and then this reading is for you. And lastly, I believe that you're a very powerful being. And given that you're clear and aware about how to use your own power and how to use the right information to create the proper frequencies that will allow you to make the necessary changes that you need in order to attain what you want, you can attain anything your heart's desire. All right? Okay. So let's begin. I feel like I have to rush before the whole madness begin. But no, I'm going to settle down and I'm going to take some nice deep breath. I'm going to ask you to do the same. And, I'm tapping to your collective. I know this reading is not going to be for all the Geminis out there, even though I would like it to be. But it's going to be for some of you that can really benefit from this reading. And that's what I'm hoping for. And that's what I'm really, feeling. All right, Gemini. So astrologically, from an astrological perspective, the planet that is influencing you in this reading, in this particular cycle, is Mars. And we're talking about a lot of fire energy here. See it as a raw power that is available to you in this moment. This is the life force that normally rules the first house in astrology, and it has to do with who we are, with the self, the self-identity, how you think of yourself, how you perceive yourself, the type of relationship that you have with oneself. And again, when you ask this question of who am I, who do you think you are? All right? So, and it's funny because numerically we have the number 17 in this card, which is definitely emphasizing that house of Aries, the self. But with the 7, it's also emphasizing the house of our relationships. So with this Mars energy, you can say that you have this raw power available to you that if you know how to use it to your benefit, you can use it for you, but also use it in your relationships. And when we talk about relationships, Gemini, we're not just talking about our love relationships. We're talking about all the relationships that we need to create in order to work with other people, to create experiences with other things. So you have a relationship with your own self, as well as you have a relationship with your lover, with your family, with work, with your health, with your state of mind, your state of being. Everything is a relationship. Now, in the way that you decide to use this energy, it's up to you. But we want to be able to use, when we have energies available like this to us, in a proper way, in a positive way. And this is something that, can happen. It happens to all of us. Because the universe is always there and available to give us the amount of energy that we need in order to put a project into practice or to feel motivated to do something. The question here is, how am I going to use that energy? Because a lot of times, if we are too focused in negative things, and then you use this beautiful energy, negative things. So the key here is self-awareness. All right? And again, how you're going to direct this energy towards others or towards the relationships that you're trying to create. All right. So that's basically like the life force that is available to you in this moment. Now, when you look at the center of the reading, we have 2 cards that I picked from another oracle. And one is talking about sadness and isolation, and the other one is talking about rebuilding. One comes with the number 3, and the other one comes with the number 16. So we see that one again about the self, but in this particular situation, it has to do with the work. What kind of work are you going to do when you're going to be dealing with the situations that you're having where you want to co-create with another person or co-create with other things? And that's the house of Virgo. So I like to look at these situations not just from a physical perspective, but also keep in mind energy. This is interesting. Something else began to make a noise. Okay, so I'm going to continue and I'm going to try to do the best that I can and keep positive that eventually all of that is going to disappear. All right. So here's where we have to be aware or self-aware, Gemini, that you may have the best of intentions when you're trying to make some sort of agreement, whether it's to buy a house, whether it's to get a new job or make a new contract, whatever it is. But in the way that you're thinking creates a vibration, and that vibration may not necessarily be the ideal vibration for you to have the outcome that you're wanting to have. Do you understand what I'm saying, Gemini? So you can have all of these motivations and all of these beliefs as to how am I going to approach this particular situation. I'm going to do this, I'm going to work at this, and whatever. Now, that creates a frequency that may not necessarily be the ideal frequency for you to create the opportunities that you're trying to create. And this is why when I do these readings, yes, I will tell you, according to the cards, what the energies that the oracle is picking up are about. But you, in your mind and in the way that you're relating to this situation, can be entirely different. And if we don't know how to close the gap between what we think and believe that is right for us to do to what the frequencies that we need to create in order to attract the situations, and then this is where we get really disappointed. And this is when we get frustrated because we don't understand why, if we're making the right choices according to what we've been taught to do, and we have all the excuses and the reasons as to why that was the right thing, I don't understand why I'm getting the opposite. I don't understand why I'm not getting the right outcome. So here, I'm going to do the best that I can, Gemini, to explain as I go, not just what the cards are picking up about the situations that you're having, but also the energies that you're creating. Because you represent duality. You represent communication and you represent many positive things, but from an energy perspective, you also bring a polarity. And in this particular polarity is reminding us that there's 2 aspects of us. There's 2 aspects in this reality, and we need to keep in mind. We need to keep them in mind in order to achieve the level of harmony that it's important and we need in order to create the opportunities. And here's where we also have to remind ourselves that working hard is not what's going to get you to have what you want in the way that you want it. It's going to get you what you want eventually, but maybe not in the way you want it. It's about the way that you work within yourself vibrationally so that you can magnetize, you can create the proper magnetism to attract opportunities that are going to be ideal to you. You understand that, Gemini? It's really important because it has all to do with the situations that you're having. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it. So it's important to kind of set a particular frame of mind that is clear when we're going to come and talk about your energies. So we have an oracle that is saying, hey, there is some sadness here as well as an isolation. And it could be due to a situation that we've had prior to this moment that now we get the opportunity to do it all over again. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be something long term, but there is an opportunity here to rebuild something. What that is, I don't know. It's kind of like clearing the air. I get to have the opportunity to clear the air. I get the opportunity to say now what I didn't say before. I get the opportunity to make a different decision or different choices. I get the opportunity to step back and set some boundaries. I don't know. You get the opportunity to do a lot of things. What those things are is up to you. Now, you're not the only person who's going to have the opportunity to do that here. It's also the other person. And I see here a situation between two people. One is being represented by the King of Swords, and the other one is represented by the Empress. You may be the Empress in this particular case, because one of the things that I see consistent in this reading and in this cards is the Empress energy. That from a physical perspective is wanting stability at every level. I want not just to have the life, but I want to have the life that is going to bring me a stability. I want the house. I want the dream. Whatever it is that you want, but you want it at every level because you want it at the Empress level. From a vibrational perspective, we're talking about our inner reality. How do I feel about attaining those things? What is the definitions and the judgments that I'm creating as I'm moving through life and having the experiences that I'm creating from the things that I want to attain? How do I feel about them? What kind of faith do I have? What kind of trust do I have in myself? What kind of fears, insecurities are arising as I'm doing these things and I'm not getting what I want? But I know what I want because I have the Empress here. I know what I want. The question is, how am I going to go about getting those things? And how the experiences and the lessons that I'm getting are making me feel. So I see here that this Empress, if it happens to be you, Gemini, comes next to a 9 of Cups and a 7 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Cups is talking about the Hermit, even though the Hermit is not out. So when we have the number 9, I'm saying, well, this is a situation where you probably had to go through some times where you had to spend some time alone trying to find clarity. That's the Hermit. I need to find clarity. It's being confirmed by another oracle, which it's important to know, Gemini, that the cards of the oracles, I pick them first before I lay these other cards. Okay? So that means that whatever the oracle is saying, it's happening before I lay down the tarot cards to know how your energy is flowing. The oracles are already determining the course of action. And you have an oracle here that says, well, there's been isolation here. When I look at tarot, and we see a 9 of Cups, which is a card of satisfaction. It's talking about the satisfaction of the Hermit. Isolation. So it tells me and it confirms that you might have gone through a process here of isolation and distancing yourself from this particular situation because you needed to take time to think things through, and the time might have happened from, the outcome of the situation between you and this person where you needed to take a break from each other or things were not working out, whatever the reason was. it really is not that important. What's important is that there was a need for time out. And that time out was providing each person time to think and determine whether what was happening between the two of you was the right thing. Because it could be the right thing for one person, but not the other. And when we're working with a relationship, we need to make agreements where two people feel comfortable with those agreements, the give and take. We have the King of, Swords that is bringing the Lover's cards in one side and the Six of Coins on the other side. And the six here is talking about the lovers. So when I see here, and this is your card, the card of Gemini, we're talking about duality here, right, Gemini? Duality, communication. The rate of the king, I'm sorry, I want to talk Spanglish. That's my excitement when I start, deciphering all of this information. So we have a King of Swords here that wants to communicate and wants to talk. And wants to talk about the nature of the relationship, the love in this connection. But we're not just talking about love here. I love you. Or I want to spend the rest of my life with. I mean, that is something that already happened because this is somebody that you already know because it comes with the Six of Coins. The Six of Coins, it tells me that there is a need here of giving and take. That dance that we need to create in the nature of a relationship. Which is the same thing that is talking here, the rebuild card. This oracle is saying, well, there is an opportunity here to rebuild something. How much has been lost, we don't know. How much is available and left to work with, we don't know. But we're going to find out by having a conversation. And in this particular conversation, I want to talk about how I feel. Or I want to talk about how I felt. I want to talk about, why I did what I did, or I gave what I gave, or maybe what I didn't give. You see what I mean? Somebody here wants to speak some truth. While the other person that is represented by the Empress is saying, you know what? I have a lot of feelings for you, or I have a lot to say about this situation that is positive. But taking the time apart and being able to think about what happened and also honor how I feel right now, right? I have the Nine of Cups. I've had the opportunity to take some time to be more clear about how I feel and what happened and, how I felt about our situation. Now I have this level of determination. She's coming with this fire element here, which the Seven of Wands, again, if this is you, Gemini, is talking about Mars energy. See what I mean? I have this level of determination that I need to work, or what I will be doing is that I want, whatever it is that this Empress is talking about. There's a lot to be said here about what I want and I don't want. Because next to the Nine of Cups, we have a Nine of Swords. Hermit energy again. So you see, this Empress have done some homework. And this doesn't have to be a woman, right? You guys already know that. Do I need to remind you that this is also man energy? Because this is talking, the Empress, from a physical perspective, is talking about your emotional stability, how you feel about things. And you could say that from a physical perspective, I want a house. I want you to show me by getting together and working together in a relationship, demonstrate to me through actions. But from an emotional perspective, the Empress is talking about our feelings, our divinity, our inner environment, the self, the feminine aspect, right? And here we have 9-9 Hermit energy. And we have it We have 3 cards. One oracle is talking about sadness and isolation, which probably relates to this Nine of Swords. You know, with the lack of communication, there was a lot of things that came up from me that didn't make me feel good about this particular situation. So yes, I do have a lot of feelings for you, and I like you very much, and I love you. But at the same time, there were things that happened that made me feel very insecure. Maybe not all insecurities that I felt for you were related to you, because sometimes we have triggers in particular situations that, you know, bring about this activation and this reconnection with memories of the past. But I have to keep those triggers into account. And now, thanks to whatever it is that I had to face, because we're talking about the Nine of Swords, shadow side, whatever it is that has been happening for me in this journey, including my relationship with you, I now know, and I have a better clarity about what I want to achieve in my life and what I want to achieve in my relationships and what that looks like. And I have this level of determination with the Seven of Wands that is talking about the Chariot. And the Chariot, Gemini, is not necessarily the same as the Strength card, because the Strength card is talking about ego, taming the beast, taming the ego, having the willpower and the determination to say no. But the Chariot, to me, is the card of victory, and it's talking about bringing it all together. It's, you know, feeling at peace with oneself, knowing your own capabilities, harmonizing the light with the dark. And this is a very, like, you know, psychic card in a way, because we see a person here in a chariot where he doesn't have reins. So he's controlling the phoenix or whatever these animals are, which are supposed to be horses, but they're not. So we have this connection with Egypt here. He's taming them with his psychic abilities. So it's a very positive card. So in this particular case, it's talking about determination, and it comes with the fire element. But the problem with this, and I don't know that it's a problem really, is that you're in a situation where it's kind of like a slippery slope. So in this particular situation, yes, somebody's coming here, and if this hasn't happened, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to want to come to, you know, and talk to you about what happened in the past and why they were not either emotionally available or capable to follow through and give, you know, what they could probably are capable of giving. But in, you know, it puts you in this kind of situation where you're not really sure or very certain about what to do, because you probably were the person who offered a lot to this situation. You know, you came with the Ace of Coins. Like, you offer a stability. You like somebody here enough to be able to make yourself available to create a particular relationship of, you know, a lot of stability. But somebody here was not ready. And now they're coming back and they want to talk about it. And the oracles are saying, yeah, there is a chance here to heal the ouch, whatever emotional ouch might have happened between the two of you. And there is an opportunity to rebuild something. But what is going to be rebuilt is questionable. Is questionable because it's not something that you can just say yes and then it's done. It requires time. It requires for you to be able to see how the other person is going to behave and act, and little by little to remove the insecurities and heal the situation by actions. Demonstrate to me that what you're saying is true. So I feel like, Gemini, you may feel very insecure in this particular situation. There's a lot of energy. It's funny because, you know, I don't know, maybe it's not funny, but You know, three cards came out from a different oracle, and these are very magical cards for you. Because you have the dragon spirit that talks about change. You have the dragon energy again that talks about power. And then you have the moonlight enchantment magic. So there's a lot of feminine influence in your energies right now that are very powerful. This is a very yin energy, very internal. You're probably saying, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, this is about working within with the divine feminine, whatever that means. I don't know what your spiritual inclinations are or your practices, but this is about understanding the nature of the feminine energy within you. How are you going to know about it? You need to find out. You know, I can tell you, well, you know, do some meditation and find out, you know, how you feel. No, this is about your spiritual food. What you consider the divine creative force of our universe, because it's within you. So this has to do with your qualities as a woman. If you're not a woman, if you're a guy, what, you know, your relationship with, you know, that feminine side, your emotional side is about. There's a lot of influences here that are very powerful and have to do with the moon. And it's funny that we right now are entering into Leo season, which is all about your passion, your creativity. How creative do you feel with your own energy? Then again, one of the things that I was picking up as I was trying to do this reading before is that apart from this particular situation, I feel, Gemini, that you may be dealing with other situations that are just as important, that is creating a lot of stress, agitation, and insecurity. And the thing is that you may not see it as fear, but there was a level of fear. There was something about the throat chakra too, needing to clear the energy of the throat chakra. When I look at the, because, you know, I use two different oracles. I'm going to bring the other cards from the other oracle that came out to see how this energy is going to flow. Because again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to describe the flow of energy. I want you to see this wheel in movement in a spiral form, because that's how the energy in our reality moves. We tend to see repetitions because of the way that we perceive our life situations. So, you know, our perception is what creates this idea or this illusion of circular motion and repetition, but energy is not flowing in a repetitive mode. We do that. It's doing it in a spiral form. So I'm going to bring out the cards that tells me how this energy is going to flow. But I again, I would like for you to keep in mind that there is an influence of divine feminine energy in your reading that is very powerful, and it has to do with the Empress. So focus more on this energetic and vibrational aspect than the physical one, because I feel like that's how you're going to find your answer of how to deal with this situation. Okay, so let's bring about the cards that are coming. From the other oracle. And oh, okay, so look at that. So the King of Swords is repeating here, is consistent. Let's see what other card. That's it. That's the only thing that is being repeated here, is the King of Swords. So here the King of Swords comes with the Seven of Cups upside down. And now you have 3 major arcana instead of 2. You have the Temperance, the Fool, and the Magician. But if you notice, Gemini, the Fool, in the way that it's moving in the spiral form, is going to move upside down. right now is leveling out with the Temperance. And then you have the Queen of Swords upside down together with the Empress here, and the Nine of Wands with the Lovers in the crown of the reading, in the head. So it's interesting because, again, Mars is the life force that is ruling this cycle in your reading. And now the stronger influence in this particular round is fire. How are we going to direct this fire? How are we going to come together and reconnect if we want to rebuild something here? You see what I mean? The rebuilding. So having a conversation to be able to address past situations where we can have more clarity and understand why happened what happened, right? So we're getting that opportunity to heal something. It'll remove the sadness, but now we have this life force that we can use it and utilize it in a positive way. The question is whether two people can come together and make an agreement. Now, I see here the Two of Cups upside down, and we have the Page of Wands upside down, and the Ten of Wands up. So we have all this fire element upside down, which tells me that it's stagnant. So we're not doing anything about it. We have the desire, but we're not doing anything about it. Damn it. And we have this Nine of Wands, right? So somebody's coming here. But you see, Gemini, this is what I see. I have to tell you what I see. So this Nine of Wands, so talking about the lovers, right? So there's love here. There's a connection here. There's feelings. But somebody called it the quits sometime in the past where they didn't invest their time and energy in creating something stable. While the other person offered that level of stability, because we're talking about the Empress. But now somebody wants to talk about it. And then what? We talk about it and then what? And the Empress is saying, well, I'm not very sure about what to do. But you see, the Empress is the Queen of Swords is basically, it's talking about the attitude of the Empress. Like, I'm not really sure what to do here or how to handle this situation. What I do know is that I'm determined to achieve my goals when it comes to what I want as far as my stability goes, whether it's in a personal romantic relationship or in my life. I'm determined to do that. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. But in this particular situation, I feel very uncomfortable because I don't know whether the other person is going to be able to demonstrate what you as an Empress want to see. And the Queen of Swords needs to work with the Magician. And the Magician, you see, is pointing to the sadness, the disappointment, and the isolation. And it's next to the Temperance card, which talks about, the patience that we need to have in order to little by little transform how we're feeling, right? And if we're feeling insecure and we're having, give me time and let me see whether what you're willing to do this time around is going to allow me to transform a lot of these insecurities or this, lack of trust that I have, and be able to trust you. Let me see. I don't know that I can. I've changed. I'm not the same person that you met before, and I'm not willing to do the things that I was willing to do before. So let me see. And I feel like in this particular case, you see the King of Swords have entered into this opportunity. So I wouldn't be surprised if this already happened. I wouldn't be surprised if you're communicating with this person and they're coming, with a lot of, conversation. They're kind of holding their passion a little bit because they know that passion alone is not going to cut it. You see? And they're facing the Temperance. It's like Temperance is the door. Temperance is the door. And it's kind of semi upside down here. It's kind of creating a boundary here with the Fool. And the Fool is saying, can we try again? Can we start all over again? But somebody here is not very optimistic with the Seven of Cups upside down, which is turning in the right direction. Eventually it will. And again, we're talking about the Chariot. You see what I mean? And when we have the Seven of Cups representing the Chariot, we're talking about our illusions, our fantasies, our desires. It's kind of a daydream, like, this is what I want out of life. Can this person be the one that I'm looking for, that is going to be part of my, desires or my dreams? Can this person be? I need to find out. I need to try it again with what I already know and see if maybe this person is the one. But they have to, now they're faced with this attitude of, wait, hold back, take it easy, because now I'm the person, right? The Empress is saying, now it's me. Now I'm not so sure. Now you're going to have to take it easy and be patient with me, because I'm not the person that you left behind. Wow. Wow. I'm getting a headache too. And what I'm seeing here, Gemini, with all of these cards upside down, I feel like, there is the Lovers again. There is, you see, the Six of Cups. Strong connection here. Very strong connection. And you see, you have this Seven of Wands upside down here. It means that, like somebody really tried to work this out and gave their best, while the other person was just not sure. But now this person is looking back, and it's not over. But we're not reaching some sort of agreement here. The energies are not being positioned. It's kind of like that fire that we bring is not working. It's not working. And the thing about it is, what I'm most concerned in this particular situation is that you have all of this fire available to you. And if you're kind of having all of these indecisions while you're trying to reconnect to this person, and the majority of the time you're thinking about this person and your feelings, one moment they feel good and the next moment it makes you feel insecure and it gives you anxiety. Now all of this energy that you can use in a positive way is being tied down in emotions that are not so good. And they're being, I can say it's wasted, it's energy wasted. For you, it's not. You're going to be using it to feed a situation that is not positive, and that's how you're going to use it, and that's okay. But my question to you is that how you want to use it? Because this is pure positive energy that you can say, okay, let's heal this. But do you feel the freedom to not let this situation hold you back and be able to use all of this energy in the things that are really, truly positive for you? Can you do that? Because a lot of times, one of the things about Gemini, oh my goodness, I know so many. I have Gemini in my chart, and I have a lot of friends that are Gemini, and believe me, I understand the nature of a Gemini very well. And one of the things about Gemini is that you can get very easily distracted with things that are not going to give you long-term the desired outcome. So you have to be very cautious and very careful. You need action. Geminis need action. They need the social life. They need to always be in the go. If things are not happening and not many things are happening at the same time, you feel bored. You get easily bored. You need that level of action. So when I look at this Mars energy, it's like, oh my God, and especially in the time of Leo, I'm thinking, watch out. But the oracles here are asking you to look within to your divine feminine, to heal the ouch, to heal not just this ouch, but all the ouches. While you're re-attracting somebody that it's, somebody from the past that you have a lot of feelings for, and this person does for you as well. But the question is if this person is ready to offer. And the question is, are you going to sit around waiting and calculating and noticing and tying all of this energy just on this person? And that's where I have to leave it up to you. And this is where I have to say, good luck, Gemini. You have what it takes to know. You have angels that are working with you. Follow your instincts, because this is not an answer that you need to know beforehand. This is something that will come to you in the right time and in the right moment. And you will know how to handle this connection and what to do. So it requires you to be very connected with your inner world. So thank you so much, Gemini. I wish you the best of luck.